Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay, and we are into the video number 31 where we are building in this video series. Actually, we are building a movie rating application from scratch using ASP.NET Core MVC, Micro RM Dapper, and ChatGPT as our coding assistant. Right. In this video, we are going to work upon rating individual cast. Right. So we have in the previous video we are done with rating a particular movie. User can provide ratings to the particular movie. In this video, we will look into the providing a option to user so that they can rate individual performance in the movie. See, we are already listing cast ratings, right? So somewhere over here we can list the form for each particular cast. So user can just put down comments and say rate for that particular role in a one movie, right? So let's do that. So let me bring the prompt over here. I have prepared the prompt. What I just said, that only I have written it over here, that we are already displaying cast rating at the end of the details page. We have cast name, image, and average ratings. We need to have ratings form. It's actually form here as well, so that user can rate individual cast of the movie, right? So, and this time what we need ratings and just the text box. We just need rating in the text box. Let me correct this a little bit. Okay. Okay, so this should be ideally third one. Okay, let me correct this. Actually, I don't know where this is going on. Okay, well, let it be. Yeah, okay, now it's good. So we will have just the rating, just the tag box and the rate button, right? And I have given it the sample code. Let me show you what sample code I have given to ChatGPT. So at the end of our detail page, we are displaying this cast rating, right? So ideally, our rating form for individual user should go somewhere over here. Right? That's what I am planning to do. So let's push this, our prompt to ChatGPT and wait for its response. Meanwhile, I'll clean up some stuff in the background. Let me go to ChatGPT. Okay. For some reason, every window has shifted to my first display. That's why I have to bring everything back to the second display, which I am sharing with you guys. And okay, so let me just paste it over here and wait for its response. Let me push it and wait for the response. Okay, so let's understand ChatGPT's response. SP insert cast rating. Okay, it has created the insert. Okay, view model. This cast rating VM. Content ID, cast name. Okay, interface. Okay, okay. So let's see if this works actually. So what we'll be doing, we'll have the insert cast rating, which is good. But let me see on the razor view, it is taking okay content ID as the and cast ID. But we do have role ID also. We will have role ID also. I think we missed to inform ChatGPT. We do have role ID also. So how will we do this? Let me no. So content ID, let it be there. Hmm. Maybe role ID is not required. Let's see. Content ID and cast ID. Content ID and cast ID. We are putting it over here. We are getting the rating. So what do we have it in user content? User content cast rating. This one we need to check. So we have just the content cast id. Okay, content cast id and rating. Okay, so content cast id, let me see what do we have it over here. Yeah, okay. So this is something that we need to have. But in the store procedure we haven't taken content cast id. This is cast id, this is content cast. Okay. So I think we might have to, let's ask chat gpt. uh, let me think through. Okay, I think we will need content cast id. So in the store procedure sp get content details, we did not have this column, because ideally we would be voting against a particular content cast id. Let me show you what I am telling over here. So what do we have it in content cast table? Let me run this. This is id, right? So this table says that, okay, for this movie, this cast in this role, right, has performed this role, something like this, right? So these are actually individual cast role ids, right, for this content. This is cast, and this is, and we will be rating this particular id. So if I go to user content id, you know then this content cast id, let me run, these two together. Let me explain what I am saying. So basically in user content cast rating table, this content cast id is actually this, right? It is this. So uh, we will have to have the store procedure change. So first of all, sp get content details, that we need to add this column. So I added into the select list and added into the group by also, right? Second thing we need to do is, now since we added it, what do we need to do? We'll have to go to the vm cast rating vm. This is the vm that is used to get cast ratings, right? So here we will have to add id, content cast id. Let me copy paste this, and okay, so this would be content cast id, because we will be rating against it, right? So we will need this particular guy as a hidden variable in the razor form that ChatGPT gives us, right? So this is good. Now this is good. Let me see whether the names are matching or not. Content cast id, content cast id. Okay, great. Now let's go to ChatGPT and what it has given us. Let's try to follow that. Okay, the first is the store procedure. Let me copy this. Let me come over here, control V, and insert card user id, content id, cast id, ratings. Okay, this has to be integer. Content id. Okay, content cast rating if exist, update. Yeah, if we insert. Okay, content cast user id. Okay, let me see what do we have in content cast. Content cast user, we'll have to use this table. Actually the table name doesn't seem to be correct. Okay, it has to be this, it has to be this, and then in column what do we have? Content cast id and then rating straight away. So we'll have to update this. Rating is equal to this, command is equal to rating is equal to this, that user id, user id is equal to this. And no, we just need content id. We don't need actually content id, we don't need even cast id. We need the content, we need this guy. Just give me a moment. Yeah, okay. So this time we'll have to correct actually a lot of things. So this has to be, well, content cast id. This has to be content cast id is equal to, no, user id, let it be. Okay. last updated by, actually it should be, yeah. So here last updated by would be user ID, and content cast ID is equal to content cast ID. I'll remove this. This is something we don't require this many things. So we just need user ID, content cast ID. This is also not required. Right. So what do we need? We just need these three things basically, and these four. Let me see if we have those parameters. One, two, three, and four. Okay, great. Yeah. So this is good, and where this has to be last updated by, and this has to be this. So this is good. Now let's correct this one. So we don't have user ID. It should be content cast ID, then comma rating, then it should be comma rating, then rating, then comments, then rated on, then ratings, comment, rated on, and then the last one is last updated, no, rated on, last updated by, okay, last updated by, and last updated on. So this will be get date, rated on would be again a get date. So let me take this now. So this should be this guy. User ID will have to place is at two places, last updated by. So let me actually remove this. Let me go one by one only. Ratings. Let me have the comments. Then rated on would be get date. Last updated by would be user ID, and this is again get date. Right, so this is how it should, our store process should look like. Let me run this. Okay, so this is good. Now let's go to the VM. Now casting VM, what do we have? Content cast ID. Yeah, ratings, comments. Okay, for this. Okay, ratings and comments. Okay. So we'll need to add it in cast rating VM where we already have it over here, right? So let's go ahead and or add these properties over here. Okay, it did not copy well. Let me we do it again. This is not still not. Let me do this in background quickly. Okay, let's move to the I content repository and add this. Actually, it should you go to repository, user rating repository. This should go to insert cast rating. Hmm. Let me see what we are doing over here. What do we this will go in, this will go in, content cast ID will go in. Yeah, okay. I cast rating. Okay, it has created new actually. But let me keep it into the I user content only. So that way we don't have to create new one, right? So let me take this. Let me take this. Let me post it over here And let me remove the user id. Actually, we don't need it, we can get it from here. Cast rating VM, I hope we have that. No, we don't have that, so we'll have to add it. User id. So I have the string user. No, it should not be string actually. It should be integer. Let's say. Okay. So this is what. So we will submit this entire, which should have at least this, and this. These four should have the value. Rest is okay. Right. So let me go back to Chat GPT and let's move it from there. Now in the repository, we will take this method. So we will go to a repository, we'll go at the end, we'll paste it over here. So user id should be, this should be content cast id, and this should be content cast id. And let's try to keep the sequence as our store procedure itself. So we don't need this. We will need rating and comments. We will need rating and comments. Okay, great. Now let me take these, and this should be con dot execute. Right. Is this GUID? Let me see. No, it is not GUID. No, integer. Okay. So this 4 should go in. Okay. So this is done. Let's move to the next task, which is, no, this is not required. We already have registered this, so this is not required. Let's go to the rate cast, post method. So we'll go to content controller. Where do we have it? Over here. And just like add rating, we will have the rate cast. Right, and we will have this content id. Yeah, so this would be probably, what do we have it in this? Again, since we need to redirect it, then cast id, cast image, any cast id. Okay, so we'll have to work on this because we don't have content id over here. That is one problem. So, and also user is also problematic. Let me correct the user thing also. uh, 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 uh. This is not required. We'll have to remove this, and we'll have to say model dot user id is equal to user dot id. This is one thing. And model dot, do we have something called last or rated on? Rated on. Oh, that's okay. Rated on we are and you're taking from the store procedure itself, so we'll not keep this. So this would be user.id, ideally user.id. User id, what is it? No, this is not GUID. This has to be only integer. Okay, so we'll have to correct that method also. It should be integer. It should be integer here as well. No, we don't have that. Okay, we don't need this actually because that is part of our VM itself. Right, so it should be model dot user id. Okay, so we don't need these. We just have to pass model over here. Save it. Okay, so this is good. and then redirect it to. So here is something that we'll have to work upon, because we don't have content ID over here. We need content ID, because we are if we are redirecting to detail page, then we need this content ID. So let me add it over there, and let me see if we get the content ID from here. You know, let me say, do we have something? No. Let me just add this. We have cast ID, but we need to have content ID. Basically, the movie, or that is something. Okay, so this is good, but we need to fill it now. We need to fill it from where? We need to fill it from ad rating. No, so if we go to razor page, let me details.cshtml. Okay, so over here we will have to, wherever we are working on the form, wherever we are putting down form over here, we'll have to make sure that we are passing that content ID. Right, so that we'll do in quick time. Okay, so this is good now. Okay, now next is the razor page. So let me copy this entire form, and let me paste it over here. So I'll take another div actually. So this one we'll have to change. This should be model dot, what do we have? Let me go over here. Okay, so it has to be model dot id straight away. It has to be model dot id. We don't need cast id. We don't need cast id. And this will be named as content id. Okay, great. This is comments. This is user rating. Okay, let me see if it is named as user rating or just the rating. User rating and comments. Okay, user id we already have. And where does it is posting? Rate post. Okay, so let me, this time ChatGPT has not given us the very accurate code, but lot of changes has to be, I have to done. But let's see, I tried my best to cover this up. Let's run it and see it now. So I have logged in as a helpdesk guy. Let's see. Let me go to horror, and then let me go to view details. Let's hope for the best. Okay, so we have this text box and ratings, right? So let me rate this guy. Let me say above average. His performance was, I would say, was just okay. And let me put down debugger. So yeah, we have it. So we resolved it in one go actually. Rate cast. Okay, it is coming over here. Let's press F10 once so that this we can analyze the input well. Yeah, okay, so let's see what input we are getting. Sometime it just takes time. Let me pause it. Yeah, so let's see. We in the model we have, okay, we have comments, we have rating, that is good. We have content ID, that is also good. But we don't have content cast ID. Okay, this is a problem. We need content cast ID. Right now, what can be wrong over here? Let's see in the razor view. So in the razor view, we have the hidden content ID. Okay, this is good, but we also need to have content cast ID. Yeah, over here we need one more hidden variable, just like I think we might have used it somewhere. Let me see. No, we don't need a hidden variable for this, do we? Mm, okay, let me stop this and let's see what do we get when we display all this detail. So when we are here, what do we get it on the content details? Let's just see the model before we present it to UI, right? And let me quickly go to the razor page also one more time. And so we have these. What do we have? Cast ratings, right? Okay, so cast rating we are bringing. Okay, and we should have the let me do this. We should have this in a content. This should be content cast id, and it should be model dot no, this should be cast dot cast dot content. Now let me see if this is, let me go it over here. It is this guy is over here, and here we have content cast id. Okay, this is what we need. This is what we need as a hidden variable. Okay, so this is good, and let's try to run this and see, and let me see if we have some value in the over here before we load it to the UI. Let's see. So let me go to view details. Okay, so we are landing on the content details page. Okay, so let's see what do we have in the model, and because that's what we are passing it to UI. So let me see, we should have the content cast id. Okay, where do we have it? It should be in cast ratings. Okay, over here. Let me expand this. Let me expand any one of these. So we have content cast id as one. Okay, great. Let me see one more record. Content cast id as 5. Okay, so now this time it seems to be there, right? Okay, let's try to rate this guy. I would say just an average. Okay, okay. Rate this guy. Now let's see what do we have it over here. Now this time we have content cast ID as one, content ID as one, content cast ID as one. Let's say F5, and let's see what is happening now. Okay, so we rated this guy, we rated this, and that is something not displaying over here. But let's see if it was there in the database. So let's say user cast. Yeah, so it is okay, okay, over here, right? We are not displaying the individual actors or models rating. That's the reason we don't see it on UI, but it got stored in the database, right? Content cast id 1. Now let me see what is content cast id 1. Okay, content cast id 1 is the one. Now let me make a new entry altogether. Let's this is good. Well performed, well performed, performed. Let me rate cast. Let me say F5 from here. Let me say we don't need this. Let me say F5. Okay, so this also must have been got added, right? Let's see. Okay, so this got also added, well performed 4.0, right? It just the we are not displaying it over here, we are just displaying the average ratings, right? So this way we can plan to have a individual ratings as well, right? So we are done with rating movies or content, whatever it is, then individual rating also. and we are just not displaying it over here. That's fine. I think this is good enough as of now. So basically, core functionality, the rating of an individual movie and rating of individual cast of that particular movie, that we are done with, right? So in the next video, what we will be doing, let me log out. We will be working on register. We'll register with new user, and we'll see if that new user we can use to rate and rate the movie and rate the individual cast or not, right? So thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next video.